Good morning, everyone. How is How is everybody today? We really want to thank you all for coming out this morning on this beautiful sunny day. You could have been anywhere else, the coast, right? In fact, Dive and I were at the coast yesterday morning, and we knew we had to check out of our hotel yesterday. And I was saying to him, I was like, maybe we should just say, maybe they won't miss us if we don't. And I was remembering the story of the avid golfer. There was this preacher, the preacher who was the avid golfer. He just loved to golf. Any chance he could, he would golf. Well, one day he woke up one Sunday, and it was a day like today. Perfect, beautiful day, sunny, not a cloud in the sky. And sure enough, the desire to golf overtook him. So he called his assistant. He said he was going to be sick and he wasn't going to go to church that day. So he ends up driving like 3 hours away to a golf course so nobody would see him. And he starts to get out on the tee, and it's a perfect day. But meanwhile, up in heaven, this angel is a little disturbed by what the angel's seen and down on earth. And the angel says to the Lord, well, Lord, aren't you going to punish him for this? And the Lord just kind of nods. Well, sure enough, then the preacher goes up to the first hole. He swings his racket. Is it a racket? No, I don't play golf. What is it? That's a club. Okay, he swings the club, right? And it goes flying in the air. And then what's it called? A perfect hole-in-one? He gets it, right? And then the angel is like, oh my gosh, Lord, I thought you were going to punish him. And the Lord just smiles. He says, think about it. Who can he tell? So, anyway, so maybe we should start with a reading. It's a great topic today, why do devotees fall? And it's really wonderful to take a moment and to look at that. What are the things that hold us back from knowing God? As Diva said in the earlier service, we may not want to know God, but maybe we want to know God. And that's really where it comes from. If we want to know God, that's where we start from. And then all those things that happen, yes, they can take us away from the path, but they're not who we really are. And we always come back. And this reading is beautiful because it's number 194. And it says, I will be thine always. I may go far, farther than the farthest star, but I will be thine always. Devotees may come, devotees may go, but I will be thine always. I may bound over billows of many lives, under sad, dark skies of loneliness, but I will be thine always. The whole world may ignore thee, engrossed as it is in thy gifts of money, power, and pleasure, mere playthings, but I will be thine always. Take everything away from me if thou willest, but Lord, I will be thine always. Death, disease, and every imaginable trial may riddle and rend me, yet, while the embers of memory still flicker, look into my dying eyes, they will mutely say, I will be thine always. My voice may grow feeble, fail and forsake me, and yet with bursting heart and with the silent voice of my soul, I will ever whisper to thee, my Lord, I am thine always. So a very wise man once said that God created everything. He created the universe, he created the world, he created us. So therefore, he also created our greatnesses and our pitfalls. So God is probably not surprised when we fall. He probably even put the pitfalls there for a reason, right? So that we could learn and so that we could grow from them, so that we could see them, so that we could become aware of them, perhaps go around them, above them, below them. But the key is that we keep moving forward. And where are our thoughts? In the day, Yogananda would say, take care of the moments, and the years take care of themselves. Where are our moments? Where is our consciousness? Are we wanting to know God? Or are we caught in the things of the world? And so we talk about diet for the body. It's so important, don't we? We're so blessed. We live in a country where we have so many different varieties and opportunities to eat any way we can. I have a friend that's visiting, I believe it's New York City, and she posted a picture of something, of a smoothie that she bought at a restaurant. But the outside of the restaurant, it said gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, sugar-free, nut-free, it said oil-free, and I didn't know what was in that smoothie, but it sure looked good. But what is the diet that we're holding for our mind, right? Where is our consciousness? I have a pitfall, when I travel, I indulge in this, is I love reading magazines of all kinds. Well, not all kinds, but I love like gardening, cooking, house, home and beautiful, even fashion, all these kind of things. I love that. So when I go on an airplane trip, I justify that I can buy all these magazines. And Daiwa looks at me, I have my pile. And so I do that, but inevitably, right, you open up these magazines and they're wonderful. You get great ideas for color and landscaping and cooking and recipes. Inevitably, you get one of those little cards, you've seen them, and it says, okay, now if you subscribe for 12 issues, this will only cost you a fraction of the cost. If you were to buy each issue, by itself, it's almost like the cost of just buying that one issue you just bought. And it's so tempting. I go, okay, I'm caught. Okay, I sign up, right? I sign up. I feel so good about myself. Okay, I'm getting such a great deal because I love a sale and a good deal. And so then I get that new magazine, under my new subscription, and then what happens? Sure enough, then I get more cards in there. But this is to other magazines. Oh, because you subscribe to this, we think you may be interested in this, and then in that. And then, oh my gosh, before I know it, I'm pulling out the checkbook. Yes, I can't pass up a good deal. and then I go, whoa, wait a minute. And I know that I've gone overboard when my magazines, pile up next to my bed, and they're more than what I call my spiritual books. When I see that they're piling up high, I go, wait a minute. Okay, you need to reel it in. It's nothing wrong, with reading magazines or doing those kind of things, but when they supersede, the desire to want to know God, when they take the place of then reading those spiritual books. And a wise man once said, he said, every night before you go to bed, your last thing that you read should be something spiritual. I can't remember who said it. It's probably Swami or somebody like that, but make sure the last thing you read, is of the masters, something uplifting, something that will remind us of that connection. What makes us fall is we forget that connection, right? We think we're the house, we think we're the job, we think we're the fashion or the garden or whatever it is. But we're not that. We're all those, we're much deeper than that. And so reading something from the masters reminds us of that. Affirmations are a powerful, powerful tool. Advertisers figured that out on Madison Avenue many years ago. How many of us remember some of these great jingles? You remember one, you always say it. No, he won't say it.
Winston tastes good.
Right, but they figured it out, these jingles, right? If we repeat them over and over, they stay with us. It's really fun. They took some of these famous jingles and they put them in relation to God. You guys remember Frosted Flakes and Tony the Tiger? God is like Frosted Flakes. He's great. Or you remember, the ladies probably remember VO5 hairspray. God is like VO5 hairspray. He'll hold through all kinds of weather. And then I think it's Dial. Try him. Did I write it down? I don't want to miss the punchline. It's all about the punchline. God is like Dial soap. Aren't you glad you know him? Don't you wish everybody did? The chants that we sing, what are they? They're affirmations put to music, right? What happens when we sing these chants over and over, and then we take them deeper and deeper into the consciousness? That's who we become. Sitting in the silence with the Guru by my side, when my thoughts are still, when my heart is laid to rest, that's when my thoughts are still. That's when I can feel his presence more deeply. We have in Sanskrit something called japa, the repetition of God's name. Whatever words it is, love God, Om Guru, repeating it over and over. Imagine if that's what came to your consciousness when you first wake up. Om Guru, instead of Winston tastes good or whatever it is. But Om Guru, that consciousness of God. Hanging out with keeping the company of the saints, is so important. That's how they can help us from falling, really, from falling into our pitfalls. Our affirmation today on introspection, it's so beautiful because it talks about holding ourselves in that place of inner calmness between the body and the mind, the knowing of who we really are. We're eternal light, love, joy. There was a disciple who went up to Yogananda and he said, "Sir, I don't believe I have very good karma." And Yogananda got very stern with him, the way the story goes. It takes very, very, very good karma to even want to know God. We forget that we're made of that light. We forget that we've come a long way to even want to know God. And we forget that, right? We forget that we're light. And we look again at our greatnesses, our pitfalls, and we define ourselves by that. And we entrap ourselves in that. And it's hard to do, isn't it? That's why we have environment. Yogananda, famous line would say, environment is stronger than willpower. We need the support of our Guru Bhais. Guru Bhai means our fellow seekers, to support us and remind us. At Ananda, it's wonderful because when you fall, you can't hide. Service at Ananda, we do two things a lot of. We meditate and we serve together. So when you fall, I know the tendency for myself is to want to hide. Okay, I really blew it. I remember I blew it many years ago when I worked down at the village, right in the management office. I blew it greatly. And my boss said, you got to get back on the horse. You got to get out there. Get out there and serve. Because what happens when you serve? Especially when you're serving for somebody outside of yourself, your family, your friends, your community, your church, whatever the circle is, when you serve, you forget yourself, right? You tune into something so much deeper, right? Yourself, your light, your joy. You're not this mistake that you made. You're not this. We all have our pitfalls. We're all going to fall. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. We're here to learn, to grow from them, to go strong. Remember to go around them, above them, below them, but to keep moving forward. And then meditation is the other part of our teachings here. A wise man said, a bucket fills drop by drop. That's what we're doing when we meditate. It's drop by drop. I remember saying to a teacher years ago when I first came to the path, I go, I can't meditate, I can only sit for a few minutes. And he said, great, you can sit for a few minutes. What do you think? That's good. Sit for a few minutes. That's how the bucket fills, okay, with each meditation, drop by drop. And again, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. If you can't sit for an hour, if you can't sit for a half hour, if you can't sit for 15 minutes, sit for 2 minutes twice a day. Start with that. That's how our bucket fills. And then remembering, God doesn't mind our faults. He minds our indifferences. A man was overheard praying to God. He said, dear God, if you can't make me a better person, don't worry about it. I'm having a really good time the way I am. Love God. Love God, serve, remember. Remember God's grace. Yogananda said to Rajasi, who was Yogananda's foremost disciple, right? We know that. He said to Rajasi, don't ever forget where your grace comes from. Don't ever forget. He's saying this to Rajasi. Oh my gosh, don't ever forget. He's saying that to us. Don't ever forget the grace that we have from God, 50% on the path. And then 25% the Guru's grace. The Guru brought us all these teachings, all these techniques, all these wonderful things that we can use. But remember, even if we offer, as Krishna promises us in the Gita, even if we offer a fruit, a leaf, or a flower, these are small things. Even if we offer that, a leaf in my name, it would be accepted with great joy, right? But then there's our effort, remembering our effort. Okay, that's how we pick ourselves up. We go around the pitfall. We go above it, below it. We keep moving forward, remembering God's grace is always with us. I want to end with this quote from Yogananda. I see all of you as images of light. Yogananda once said to a group of his disciples, everything, the grass, the trees, the bushes, everything I see is made of light. You've no idea how beautiful it all is. So let's hold this in our hearts. Let's take a moment of silence. We have no idea how beautiful each one of us is to the divine. And let's share this precious gifts as well. Let's see the innate beauty in ourselves and everyone and everything. And then the whole world will be our friend. Om, peace.